Hey everybody, how's it going? So I think that Erica has saw fit to torture me because she sent me a link to this a few weeks ago and I've been sharing it in my Discord and also my community page with all of you. It is a seemingly basic workout. Like I look at this and I think, "Oh, this doesn't look that hard. Like anybody can do this. How is this even an exercise? He's just walking and then goes down and then walking and then there's another one where he just does this kind of just does this and it's like, oh, anybody can do this. I decided to try giving this a shot, and within 1 minute I literally collapsed on the floor and was going and it was absolutely horrible. And the thing is that I thought that I was somewhat decently healthy. I go running or jogging for about 15 minutes every morning, and I lift weights 3 to 4 times a week. I'll do my deadlifts, squats, bench press, bent over rows, curls, skull crushers, and then I will do my jogging. And I figured, with all of this combined, I'm in decent shape. And then I try to do something like this. And I realized that just trying to get 1 minute into 9.5 minutes of something that looks very simple, I actually collapse on the floor, filled with sweat, feeling like I want to die. I haven't felt that bad in a long time. And I'm not 83, I'm 33. And I think that's unacceptable. And, with this new variant of COVID that just came out, I think we're up to Omicron now. It was like COVID original, COVID Delta, COVID G, but we had to skip over that because we're pussies, so we went to Omicron. There's probably going to be new variants coming down the pipeline. And let's say that there are no variants. Let's say we actually kill COVID. What if we kill COVID completely, but something new comes in? I think that if there's any lesson that we've learned over the past 2 years, it's that the unhealthiness that we have as a society is not doing us any good. Because even if you take COVID out of the picture, even if you remove COVID, you just delete COVID, would we call the United States of America a very healthy society? I remember going down to Lumberton, North Carolina, and I remember going to a Denny's, and there was a 1,600 calorie sandwich at this Denny's. And I remember asking, is this common? Do people get this regularly? And the waitress says yes. And I said, do they eat it in one sitting? And they go, most of the time. A 1,600 calorie sandwich that people eat in one sitting. You have Arby's, you have McDonald's, you have Burger King, you have Jack in the Box, all this other garbage that people eat, that people choose to put in their body on a regular basis. And a lot of it ain't even cheap. Like the garbage that I saw at Denny's, it was cheap for a diner. It wasn't cheap for a meal. Would it make sense to try and focus a little bit on health so that when the next thing comes down the pike, we're ready for it? Or at least more ready for it than we are now. If we're at a point where hospitals can get overrun and that hospital capacity getting overrun can lead to serious restrictions and shutdowns for vast swaths of society, what can we do at this point to make ourselves a little bit more healthy? I think that the bar is set really, really, really low for health, for what we consider decent health in the United States. Like, the fact that I can't do more than a minute of this at the very beginning when I thought I was healthy, that was a wake-up call for me. You can't be this unhealthy at the age of 33. I should be able to do this at the age of 33. So I've set a goal for myself. I'm doing this multiple times a day, and by the time I hit age 34, I want to be able to do this without cutting it into pieces. So what I've been doing is I take this workout. He has two things. He has stuff that you do in 10 seconds and stuff you do for 30 seconds. The stuff for 30 seconds, sometimes I can only do for 15. Sometimes I can only do for 7 before I collapse. So I do it for 7 seconds, take a 5-second break, then do another 7, take a 5-second break, do it again for 7 seconds, do another 5-second break. My goal in 1 year, by the time I'm 34, is to be able to do this entire thing in one sitting, no cheating, no stopping in the middle of it, and maybe even not feel like I'm going to die at the end of it, but I'll settle for feeling like I'm going to die at the end of it. I'm going to do this on a regular basis. It's something that Eli says on his channel about 7 years ago that stuck with me. It was, I'm not going to tell you to do this exercise. I'm not going to tell you to eat this stuff. I have just basic little piece of advice that everybody can follow. Eat healthier, exercise more. Again, if you say you need to eat this keto diet or this vegan diet or this fruitarian diet or whatever the hell else, it's probably going to be a difficult thing to do. If you say I need to do this program where I do 5 sets of squats, 5 sets of deadlifts, 5 sets of bench press, 5 sets of bent over row every single day, you may not do it. But if you do nothing and you say I'm going to work out for 1 minute a day, 1 minute a day is technically exercising more than 0, so you're doing something. And something is better than nothing. So here, in the beginning, I was literally only able to complete 1 minute of this. Now I can get to the whole thing if I segment it a little bit. But 1 minute of this is more than 0, which actually does something. And I think this is an important conversation to be having because it was very abundantly clear that as a country, we were seriously lacking when it comes to our physical and mental health before COVID hit. So once something like that hits, it really does kind of point out the cracks in the society that already exist. Especially in a world where you're doing more and more work via the internet, via technology, via automation, where you don't really need to be in physical shape. But if you don't need to be in physical shape to do your job, and you don't need to be in physical shape to participate in the society, there's a good chance that you'll just choose to not be in decent shape. But then when something like COVID comes along, it really does point that out. And, I know people that have gotten this that were unhealthy that survived, no problems. I also know people that got COVID that were not as healthy, that had let themselves go over the course of the past 8 or 9 years, that did not survive. When your capacity is to the point where just climbing up 4 flights of stairs or 6 flights of stairs to get to my apartment makes you feel like you're already about to pass out, it really doesn't take much at that point to finally tip you over into either being in a hospital or not making it in spite of the hospital's help. And I kind of wonder if every single person in the country 3 or 4 years ago started just doing the basics, not doing 5 sets of everything a day, not running for 20 miles a day, not eating this perfect diet, but just eat better, exercise more, where would we be at this point in time? Would we be better off? And above all, will we be better prepared for when something else comes down the pike? Because something else is probably coming. We skipped over the G variant, so you never know. The G variant may be around the corner after the Omicron variant. Who knows what that'll be like? And who knows what it'll be like when there's something way worse than COVID that actually comes around. And this was a serious wake-up call for me. I got COVID last year, and I beat COVID last year. But it did suck. And I don't want to give any sort of virus or disease or anything any chances to take me by surprise. My dad used to tell me that aging is not something that happens like this. It kind of happens when you let certain things go for a long period of time. So for instance, if you get to the age of 38 and you say, I don't need to learn that, that's a new thing, or that's some newfangled thing the kids are dealing with, and then you're 48 and you say, oh yeah, that's just something new that kids do, and then you're 58 and you realize, oh crap, I'm out of touch with society. Or you're 38 and you used to go running regularly, and then you stop, and then again, it doesn't happen immediately. It happens slowly over a long period of time when you make certain decisions. And when I was 17 years old, I was not in great shape compared to the other kids in my class. I wasn't good when it came to football, basketball, or everything else. But I have a feeling if I were asked to do this when I was 17 years old, I probably just would have done it. And now it's like, I don't know, I spend enough time sitting on my computer answering fresh desk tickets, or sitting over a microscope for 9 or 12 hours a day before I hired Paul and Elle and Chris and Dan and everybody else. And I'm at a point where this thing that I think most people should be able to do, I literally collapsed within 1 minute of doing it. Are you able to do this exercise? Can you get this done? How far can you get into this exercise before you pass out on the floor and are hyperventilating the way I was, in a puddle of your own smelly sweat, feeling disgusted at yourself for not being able to do it? I'm going to do this shit by the time I'm 34. 1 sitting, no cheating, no nothing. And I think I owe it to myself to be able to do something like this, because I want to be prepared for when the next thing comes down the pike to not, again, I don't want to be caught off guard by something that might kill me. My dad has had 7 surgeries at this point. He's had his knees replaced. After having several surgeries on both knees, he has had a rotator cuff surgery. He's got a screw here, and then he had to have another 7 screws put in here. He had to have a whole lot of shit done, and he decided a few months ago that he was going to walk to the gym and he was going to work out for 1 hour every single day, according to the guidelines that they gave him. And if he can do that shit so that he will live longer, so that he could be healthier into the future, after having 7 fucking surgeries, arthritis, fake knees, everything else, then there's no excuse for me to not be doing this when I'm 33. I'm going to be doing this thing every single day, and hopefully in a year, I do a video of myself actually being able to do this. We're going to be doing this at the store too. So every now and then, as a joke, let's say that we get spam. We'll get this kind of spam in our inbox for your dick size or balding or your penis is limp or whatever. It'll be for some dick pills. And what they'll do is they'll take that spam and they'll forward it to my email. And because there's a shared customer service email account, I can't always tell who did that. So I can't tell who did it. So one of the things that I've said, or tried to create as an incentive structure for them to stop doing that, is I've said, anytime I get one of these emails, I'm making every single person who did customer service that day do this exercise along with me at the store. I'm actually using this as a form of punishment for my own employees. But I think at the end of the day, it'll even be good for them. A, I'll stop getting these stupid fucking emails in my inbox, or B, they'll be in incredibly good shape. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Let me know, are you able to get through this? If you are, how many seconds, how many minutes before you are on the floor dying? And are you able to do the entire thing? Oreo! Look, even Oreo, he used to not jump. Even he's starting to get pumped. He's like, I'm going to get healthy too. He used to not be able to jump on the chair or even jump on the bed. Erica had to get stairs for him to be able to walk up to the bed because he would just sit there and cry because he couldn't jump. Even he wants to get in shape. Good boy, Oreo. And it's one of those things that just kind of drives me nuts when you hear about all the different things that we could be doing with the pandemic to make things better, either for now or in the future. I really wish that there was this more talk on television about how we could be living more healthier lifestyles. Because there are a lot of people that have disabilities, that have comorbidities, that may not be able to take part in even the most basic exercise or physical therapy. But is that all of us? Is that all of us? There's a lot of us that could be doing a lot more for our health than what we do. And I'm going to start trying to do more. That's it for today. And as always, hope you learned something. You're a good boy, Oreo. Say meow for the camera. Say meow. Be like a Clinton and go meow. He's not like a Clinton.